Have you ever had a day where you wake up and feel an overwhelming urge to lie back down? Not because you're sick, not because you stayed up too late, not because you're physically exhausted, but because something inside you feels heavy. You tell yourself, I should get up. You remind yourself of your responsibilities. You try to push through. And yet, your body resists. It's not dramatic. It's not loud. It's just this quiet, powerful pull toward stillness. Psychology suggests this feeling is not laziness, it's not weakness, and it's not something to be ashamed of. It's a message. And if you listen closely, it may be telling you something deeply important about where you are in your life right now. Today we're going to explore why you feel the urge to lie down all day, what your psyche may be communicating, and why this state, often misunderstood, can actually be a doorway to transformation. This is not laziness. Modern culture worships movement, productivity, hustle, efficiency, constant output. We've been conditioned to believe that rest must be earned and only after exhaustion. So when your energy disappears without a clear, logical reason, the first conclusion you draw is, something is wrong with me. But psychologists see it differently. They argue that the psyche, your inner psychological world, has its own rhythm. And when that rhythm is ignored for too long, the body intervenes. The urge to lie down is not failure. It is not a moral flaw. It is a signal that your inner world has been overruled for too long and it's demanding to be heard. When the mind is pressured to perform endlessly, it eventually reroutes that pressure into the body. And the body responds in the most effective way it knows how. It stops you. There is a kind of exhaustion that sleep does not fix. You can rest for 8 hours, take a nap, even take time off, and still wake up feeling depleted. Psychologists refer to this as psychic fatigue, a tiredness that comes not from physical effort but from inner strain. This fatigue often comes from suppressed emotions, chronic self-betrayal. Living out of alignment with your true values, carrying identities that no longer fit, constantly performing instead of being on the surface, you may appear functional. You go to work, you socialize, you meet expectations. But beneath that surface, something inside you is carrying unresolved weight, and the psyche has a limit. When that limit is reached, motivation fades, energy collapses. The desire to lie down becomes irresistible, not because you're incapable, but because something within you needs relief. A Swiss psychologist, Carl Gustav Jung, believed that transformation rarely begins with clarity. It begins with collapse. Before growth, there is disintegration. Before rebirth, there is loss. Before direction, there is confusion. When an old identity no longer fits. When the life you're living feels increasingly foreign. When the roles you play no longer reflect who you are. The psyche enters a transitional state, and this state feels like heaviness, lack of motivation, emotional numbness, desire for withdrawal, a pull toward stillness. You may feel unproductive, lost, detached. But psychologically, this is often the sign that something old is ending. The urge to lie down all day can be the psyche's way of saying, this version of you has reached its limit. Even if you don't yet know what is being born, something inside you is preparing to let go. Look to nature. In winter, trees look lifeless, leaves fall, growth stops, nothing seems to be happening, but underground, something crucial is taking place. Roots deepen, energy is conserved, structures are strengthened. Psychologically, humans experience the same cycles. There are seasons of expansion and seasons of contraction. Periods of withdrawal, low energy, and stillness are not wasted time. They are incubation phases. Your psyche retreats not to punish you, but to reorganize itself. This is not stagnation. It is preparation. And when you fight this phase, when you demand summer energy during an inner winter, you create internal conflict. The body responds by slowing you down even more. Another powerful reason the body demands rest is emotional suppression. Grief you never processed, anger you learned to swallow, dreams you abandoned to survive. Needs you told yourself were too much. Unexpressed emotions do not disappear. They turn inward. They lodge themselves in the nervous system. They consume psychic energy. They quietly drain vitality. When too much emotional energy is trapped inside, the system overloads, and the body does what it must do. It enforces stillness. Lying down becomes the only state where the unconscious feels safe enough to surface. This is why moments of deep fatigue are often accompanied by sudden memories, emotions, or realizations. Your psyche is finally speaking. One of the most common mistakes people make is fighting this phase. They push harder, judge themselves, add pressure, force productivity. But what you resist in the psyche does not disappear. It returns stronger. Instead of asking, "Why am I so lazy?" try asking, "What part of me is asking for rest? What emotion have I been avoiding? What truth am I afraid to face? What chapter is ending in my life?" These questions open doors. Self-judgment closes them. In psychology, stillness is not emptiness. It is listening. When you allow yourself to slow down without guilt, you create space for insight. Dreams become more vivid. Intuition grows louder. Clarity begins to return. Stillness allows the unconscious to reorganize itself. This is why so many breakthroughs come not during action, but during pauses, walks, quiet mornings, moments of rest. The desire to lie down may be your soul asking you to stop running. Not forever, just long enough to remember who you are. So the next time you feel pulled toward rest, don't immediately label it as failure. It may be a message, a transition, a pause before transformation, an inner winter before renewal. Not everything that looks like stagnation is decay. Sometimes it's the quiet moment before becoming who you truly are. If this resonates with you, take a moment today to sit with the feeling, without judgment. And if you want to explore this inner landscape more deeply, I highly recommend reading Carl Gustav Jung's work on the psyche, the shadow, and transformation. Your soul is always speaking. The only question is, are you listening?